We're on.
This is like a Tom Bodett thing. We're just joining mid-thought right now.
Do we have any graphics?
Well, if I put the graphics up, we're live, by the way. If I put the graphics up, they kind of get in the way.
Ah, jeez.
Yeah. Christ, man, come on.
I'll tell you what. Well,
I didn't build them.
Why don't we have that graphic of us on the motorcycle down here in the corner or something?
Yeah.
I can put that up right up here, Harry.
Up there? Why not down here?
Because I can't put it down there. It's not movable.
Either here or
what kind of a fucking program is this? Seriously.
Who's running the show?
Well, that's when we were doing Brett Parks.
Yeah, screw them.
Guys, 10:32. Does this thing start on time or whenever?
Yeah, we're on.
Are we on right now?
We're live right now.
Wait, I'm going to run the countdown.
Give him a white balance, will you?
Holy cow.
Let's play and put another $10 in the slot machine and see if we can get a winner here. I got to spin, huh? I got to spin, Martinez.
Gentlemen, I apologize that his soundboard is active.
No, we wanted that.
What is he doing? I mean, the show started already.
He's already on the soundboard.
Is there an official open to the show, or did you just come out cold?
I figured there was no way to corral you to do like a formal open. I said, "Fuck it, let's just throw him in and let's just go."
We're live.
Yes,
I'll write it.
Let the Bronco out.
Yeah. Now you missed your show yesterday on the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
You got any Midol over there, guys?
Geez. No. What do you need, a Tampax too?
No, I got that already in.
Oh, you do?
I use the pad.
You do the pads?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't do the Tamp on it.
Yeah.
Although I did get one in the men's room yesterday when I was out at Winn-Dixie. They had one in there.
In the men's room.
Nice.
Exactly.
Well, now you missed your show yesterday on the Tony Bruno Sports Network, which you can download the app and listen to Tony 5 days a week. But yesterday, I think, was the first show that you've missed. What the hell happened?
I told you, I got up and did Nick Cale's show on 1210 WPHT.
Why?
Because I do it every Wednesday, even though I don't get paid for it, apparently.
Exactly.
I do it because he's a friend of the show. He comes. It's sort of like a reciprocal. He comes on my show. I go on his show. Harry comes on my show. Martinez doesn't come on anybody's show, and he doesn't do the podcast. I had to force Harry to explain why you, Jason, have not done an Odd G's podcast in a long, long time. And I think Harry and the rest of the audience watching this had to shame you into doing this.
Actually, I went back and looked. We've had you on not once but twice.
Twice?
Yeah, episode 5. I'm looking at it right now. Episode 5, January 4th, 2022.
Wow, you keep track of when people are on?
Yeah, but when was the second time? Because that was,
when John Madden died, by the way.
Oh, okay.
And then there was another time, too. It was like 8 months later.
Did we do it during the pandemic when Harry and I were on Sirius and then Deadspin? By the way, I don't celebrate anybody's death or firings, but nobody other than Stool Presidente, he had the best salutation to Deadspin, one of the worst operations ever. And it died once, and then they brought it back. Right. And Harry was on the air with me when we were doing our show in my wine cellar basement in South Philly that day when I was joking about LeBron James. Remember in the bubble?
August of 2020.
And he's reading, he had the books and all the media's there. And every time they went to LeBron James, he was always on the first page of whatever books he was reading. And the media also, this wasn't my creation. And the media was on it. And I'm like, I said, this is a joke. I said, how can the media not realize that he's reading page 1 of every book? I said, he probably can't even read as a joke. And then this guy in Deadspin wrote an article. And if you saw the article, I don't know if you saw it.
I remember the controversy.
Yeah. And so then the guy posts a story, and the first off, the way he started the story, the headline was, can you curse on this show?
Absolutely.
Yes.
The guy said, fuck you, Tony Bruno. That was the headline.
I remember
so when you have a headline where you're going to do a hit piece on somebody, and you started off that way, chances are it's not a complimentary piece on the show we were doing because we were hired by Sirius XM because there was no sports. Remember, it's the pandemic.
Yeah.
And so the people at Sirius on the Dan Patrick channel said, hey, if there's anybody we want on the air during a pandemic when there's no sports, it's Tony Bruno. And I've been on Sirius when I was on ESPN, Fox, you name it. I've been on there a million times. And if you listen to some of the other shows there, what I said was mild what goes on every day.
Yeah.
So this guy who wrote it, some scumbag from New Jersey named Thomas LaForgia, he sends it out. Nobody sees it. Because, Harry, you were there. And I want to get this out of the way right away because it still pisses me off. Because we saw Deadspin get buried by that little kid, the 9-year-old kid at the Kansas City Chiefs game, remember?
Right.
Yep.
And the one black dude there, what was his name? Kayla, I don't know what his name is. Some black dude did this hit piece on a 9-year-old kid showing the one side of his face that was black, but not showing the front side where one side was red and one side was black, and basically called this 9-year-old kid a racist and a kid that was going to grow up to be a mass murderer for all intents and purposes. He basically buried this.
Right. He had the headdress on.
He had the headdress on.
The kid's Native American too, by the way.
Exactly. But this guy, they don't care at Deadspin. When they want to bury somebody, they went as far as to bury. And I think that was the last straw for this company.
Well, facts don't matter anymore. It's just about narratives.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. If you want to be the moral police, then maybe don't start an article with "fuck Tony Bruno."
Exactly. And the thing
You're
is,
the moral authority.
We were all sitting in the studio, right? And Harry, did anybody say anything? We were on the air live. We were taking calls. When I made the comments, we were joking about the NBA. And anybody who's heard me for the last 50 years, I was having a good time. I didn't say the NBA players can't, or half the NBA players can't read. And even though I said anything close to that, I was laughing when I was doing it.
Right.
And that's what happens. That's what happened to Jeremy Roenick when he went on a podcast. That's what happens to a lot of people. And then you have these muckrakers like Deadspin and Vox and all these other sites whose job it is to go out and find somebody that they can bury. And the most interesting part of this, guys, is that the writer is white. So a white guilt writer who, basically has no job and he'll just write hit pieces. We were talking, I think it was on a Tuesday, Harry, when that story happened.
I think it was.
Nobody on the Sirius viewing audience or listening audience heard it. Nobody watching it on Twitch, which we were on at the time. Nobody complained about what we were talking about. And then suddenly the next day, the story appears, and the guy who wrote it started sending it like every 5 minutes. He would repost it, and then he sent it to Sirius, and then he sent it to the ad. We had DraftKings. We had just gotten our DraftKings account.
Yeah.
So the show was really taking off.
Yeah, we were starting to hit it.
Exactly. And so as we're going into high gear in August, the UFC was the first. Remember the first organization
came back first, and then golf.
They had their Fight Island, and and obviously that guy. When you talk about owners of leagues, he he made sure everything was safe. He took all of his fighters to this island, and then he started broadcasting. And so I guess the rest of the leagues after that started saying, you know what, let's have the bubble in Orlando for the players, NBA. We had to start getting sports back, later on in that year. And it did come back later on in the year, reduced schedules. But the story is, the thing that pisses me off is, people were laughing because I lost my career basically because Harry, me, and all the people, we were like 5 or 6 people doing that show, right? And so all of those people lost their jobs on that day. But does anybody give a shit? No, because the idiots on social media and the people who actually read Deadspin, they're the people that are glad when people they don't agree with or don't like lose their jobs. Guess what? I'm glad Deadspin is fired. I will dance on their graves. If there were a grave, I would go there and dance on it this afternoon.
We should do a show from there.
Yeah, I'd love to find it. But I don't know if you saw David Portnoy, right? He lives in Miami. Of course, I'm on the west coast of Florida. He's in his pool in his mansion. And the other day, did you see that when it was announced that Deadspin was firing everybody and locking them out of their social media accounts?
I didn't see that.
He was out in this pool on one of those floating recliners, and he had a bottle. He didn't have the cheap shit. He had a bottle of Dom, like $250. Well, that's nothing to him.
That's chump change.
And he popped open a bottle of Dom, started drinking it, and then spit it out as he was cursing out, including a woman that worked for him, that Julie DeCaro. Remember? She was one of his executives, and she went to Deadspin.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And then he basically said he laughed at the fact that she lost her job because she turned her back on him to go work for a sleazeball operation like Deadspin. So
how about him? He sells his company to ESPN, and then they give it back to him.
Exactly.
Buy it back.
The guy's a genius.
Oh my God.
I mean, now he can, he doesn't just have fuck you money.
Right.
He has fuck you sideways, upside down, backwards, any way possible. because he's
Yeah.
not cancelable. That's the best part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At
He's
one
proven that.
time- At one time, they tried to cancel him. But I remember the NFL.
Well, remember when he had the video of him and that girl?
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
remember the NFL would not allow Barstool on Radio Row, and they threw him out. They took their credentials away.
Right.
And as the company kept building, and he became uncancelable. And that's what happens when you're Barstool, and now he's sitting in the front row at UFC fights. He gets tickets to everything. The guy's got he gets a dog. He rescues a dog, and now the dog has his own Facebook account, and he's getting gifts every day. So that's what happens when you're that rich, and all these companies are sending you stuff, and then you do a video of you opening.
Does he have like an Amazon wish list, like the porn
No,
stars?
he doesn't even have to. All these
Oh.
companies are watching him with his dog Peaches, and then they send him stuff. So he does the segment we used to do, Harry, which is called, Robin, you have my machine on? Why is this not playing now? Oh, here it is. What's in the box? What's in the box segment.
Oh, he has an unboxing
Yeah,
segment?
he opens the box. He gets a knife out. He opens
Yeah.
the box, looks inside, and then he was begging for Masters tickets. Remember that?
Okay.
And then he gets a box, and it has 150, right? Because this is the 150th anniversary of the Masters. Is that right? Or is it 50? I don't
No,
remember.
50th is for the players this weekend.
That's right. The players
yeah.
is 50.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what year it is on the Masters. It's over 100. But I don't know.
No, it's
I don't know.
not. It's not 100 yet.
It's not. What is it?
That started in
75?
the 30s, like 1933 or something.
So we're getting close to it.
Yeah, we're getting close.
All right. But by the way, it's pie day. And so I think Robin's going to make a little apple, or you're going to go key lime pie, Robin. I
You
think
got to go
Robin's
key
going-
lime. You're in Florida.
But I didn't, pie day every year. I know it happens. It's 314. But
Mm-hmm.
since I suck at math,
3.14.
exactly. Now,
Yeah.
3.1 what?
3.1. Exactly. See, I didn't just fall out of bed. I've been up early.
No.
I want to see how good I felt. Want to make sure I can get up.
You
there.
primed the pump before you came
Yes,
on.
I did. I started before in the pregame show.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
this is one continue, and I'm not ranting here. This is just me getting up, but I had to start in a hurry. I got to take a cut. I got my Wawa coffee. I got that already.
Right.
I got
There's Wawas all over your area now,
Yeah,
right?
the Wawas in Philly are all closing. They're all coming down here now because nobody goes in and busts them up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the thing. You can walk into a Wawa and not be afraid of like 50 people coming in and just cleaning the place out. But anyway, there's a lot of Wawas out. I jokingly posted the other day. It looks like we got, because they just closed another one up at 23rd and Spring Garden there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I used to go to that one.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Wawas are great. And so that closed. And then people in Philly were, was it crime? I guess that was a city licensing thing because they're going to put a bank in that location.
Mm.
Who knew that if you have a successful Wawa in that Spring Garden area up there where there's a lot of people living in
Yeah,
all those
I used to live
buildings?
there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great neighborhood, right?
Yep,
And you can
it
get
was.
a Wawa. Now you have to go to Starbucks and pay $17 for a cup of coffee.
Why put a bank there? Wawa's printing money anyway.
Exactly. That's my point. I guess it was a city licensing situation.
Yeah. I
I'm
mean, I
saying?
got them every 17 feet out here in Chester County.
The Wawas?
I can be at 4 Wawas in less than 5 minutes.
How many Wawas? Exactly.
Exactly.
Forget the pie number because 314. Now, I always forget. Do you guys understand what the 314
Oh, we lost
means?
Harry.
Huh?
Oh, we lost Harry.
Oh, where's Harry?
Yeah, he's
Did he
got to
get
log back
calculated?
in. He's got to log back in. We just lost him all of a sudden.
Wow.
He evaporated.
As
What's
Harry usused to say,
What is going on back there?
yeah.
Yeah.
What is going on back there, Harry? Oh, there he is. He popped back in.
I hate
He just wanted to putt on 17 at TPC Sawgrass in Ponte Vedra. Have you been to that track, Harry?
I've been there, but I haven't played it, and they can get $700 to $900 up around there. So there's no way I'm paying that. It ain't that good.
It's not that good.
Well, I mean, come on, $900 to play a round of golf.
Well, you got to play at Marion. You got to play
No,
at
I haven't
track.
played Marion yet.
You didn't play Marion in the because there were 2 opens there. We were one.
Yeah, the
that Wayne-
2013. No, I
Remember
didn't
that
get
one?
to do that. I didn't get to
Remember how
do that.
wet it was? I mean,
Yeah.
it was absolutely it was a swamp the
Yeah.
first couple of days of the Marion, the U.S. Open, the second one at Marion. I was at the original one. I think it was 1980, right? Do you remember?
Well,
the
the
US Open?
1971, I believe, was when Lee Trevino beat Jack Nicklaus, and then
Yeah.
they came back in like 81, I want to say.
Okay,
and
88.
David Graham won it.
Yes, David
Yeah.
Graham.
Yeah, he's an Australian. Yeah,
The Aussie, yes.
exactly.
I remember that well. But back then, and I still I think they did it, but because the track was so wet,
Yeah.
they didn't have the media. They let the media play a couple of days before they have the U.S. Open.
Well, you got to take out a little piece of turf with you to put your ball on it because they don't want us media schmucks putting divots in the fairways or the rough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I always bring a little hair piece. I bring a little patch, a patch of grass. Like it's fake grass. You don't have to get real grass.
Right.
You got Maury's hairpiece from
Yes, I have. I have Frank Luntz's hairpiece, the guy who's the pollster, the political pollster.
Yeah.
That's a full brawl. I mean, that's a fully grown beaver up on that top.
Yeah, I always prefer a full patch, Tone. That's sort of my preference.
Untamed.
People are already commenting on this broadcast already. Here it is. Did you see what somebody just posted? Oh my God! It's a picture of Spike Eskin with his hair up, the face of the station. They're calling him. I haven't seen Spike. Spike used to obviously I worked with Spike at WIP, and he lived downtown. And he's a hipster. Not that there's anything wrong with that. He was a guy that walked around, a bike lane guy. Guy who's probably a 15-minute city guy. There's a lot of those in Philly now.
Oh yeah.
Nobody wants cars. They all just want. Everybody's got to take a bike. Well, you can't take SEPTA because another person fell on the tracks and died yesterday.
Right.
Can SEPTA go one day without something bad happening? That's all people are asking for as commuters.
I used to, when I lived in Old City and I would go to Flyers games or concerts, I loved taking the L to the Broad Street, Broad Street line. It was relaxing.
That's how I went to college.
Yeah, I used to take the Broad Street because I lived in South Philly, and Harry and I, when we would do our shows, I would go walk to Broad and either Snyder or Tasker Morris, get on the subway and go down to concerts, Flyers games, Phillies games, Sixers games. It was easy, man. You go Broad, Snyder, get there, get off at the end, and boom, you're right there.
Yeah.
Broad and Snyder is a dangerous neighborhood. And when I post stuff on social media about Philly, it's because I just care. I mean, my mother's house is still there where my nephew's living. So I worry about people who live there because I'll always be a Philly guy first, even though I'm living in Florida. So I got these people who come in, you don't even live in Philly. Why are you always talking about Philly? Because I care about Philly. That's why.
If I got a history.
If I didn't give a shit about Philly, I wouldn't talk about it. But then I'm seeing all these people, and I see every single day. Steve Keeley, one of the few reporters.
He's brilliant.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
And people say he's a fear mongerer.
Oh yeah.
People who don't want any of these actual stories that are real stories.
Right.
They don't want that out in the public.
No.
Because it's fear mongering.
Yeah.
Listen, I want the subways. I had a senior pass. I used to go on the subway for free when I lived in South Philly.
Right.
You get 65, and I got a senior pass. I go everywhere.
Yeah.
And so now, when we pay taxes, we want the government to provide us water, electricity, telephones, and that's not the government. These are the basics we need. We need roads that are open.
Right. Infrastructure.
Infrastructure is right. Infrastructure.
Right.
I need infrastructure. And that's all we want, right? I don't.
Well, yeah,
a little safety would be nice.
Yeah,
too.
safety. Yeah.
Well, it used to be safety first.
Yeah.
Now safety comes last. Although you notice what they're doing now because it's an election year, they're starting to confiscate all those ATVs that go running through the neighborhood.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
truckloads of them. So good. If it
Where do
takes
they
an
go?
election year,
I could use a couple.
they used
I
to
live in the
sell them. They used to take them down to the impound lot in South Philly.
And
You know
auction
where that IKEA is. You know where that IKEA is down in South
Mm-hmm.
Philly, that big parking lot, the Best Buy's there. That's where they used to do it. There's an impoundment lot. When your car gets towed, they take it back there. When I would go, because my car was impounded all the time,
me too. What a nightmare getting it out of there.
it's an outrage. You got to pay like $3. And I know I had a parking pass to park on my street, and they would ticket my car and impound it.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, the schmucks from Manayunk would all come down and park on my street if I went out to get groceries in the afternoon. And if I didn't get back by 5 o'clock, there was no place to park.
Right.
And I paid for a parking pass. So that's all. People just want to be treated equally and fairly. That's all.
Meanwhile, cars are parked in the median on Broad Street.
Yeah, double park.
They finally let that go because there is no place to park. And that's what people do.
Now there's a message on the chat. See, I can't interact with the chat for some reason.
Chat room. Can
I tried to log in and it knocked me off. But people are saying, is Jose from Norristown in jail? Has he checked in on your show?
Yes, he has. He is not in jail.
Okay.
He is not in jail. I can confirm now at this particular time.
All right.
Jose, I have breaking
So
news.
he's healthy.
Jose is still in Norristown.
Okay.
Resting comfortably and still watching videotapes on VCH on his
VHS.
VHS. I don't think he was a beta guy. He was a VHS guy, and I can confirm that his VHS recorder is still flashing 12 o'clock, and he still watches the 19. He watches all the Jordan,
the
era
old school.
NBA games.
Yeah.
Back when the NBA was legit, Harry.
Oh my God! What did you think of Saquon Barkley signing with the Eagles, Tone?
I have no problem with it, but I said, and obviously this is true because you guys know, living in Philly, growing up there, it's great. But I did an informal survey down here in Southwest Florida. I went into a Lowe's the other morning because I finally got the permit to build our house. And so we went into Lowe's to get some stuff, and I got to go hammer the permit box in on my lot. They're going to break ground next week, so I'm excited.
Nice.
And hopefully the house will be built by the end of this year, so I can have a Christmas tree. We can sit out, have some cocktails.
Now, are you going to have a groundbreaking ceremony like the politician with the shovel and that?
Yeah, the gold shovel.
Yeah.
Now I can't find a gold shovel because all my stocks have crashed and my bullion. I had to keep it in my jacket pocket.
Just take a little trowel. Just a little trowel.
No, I have a shovel, but I'm going to just go buy some really, the real shiny paint that they sell, the gold.
Yeah.
Paint.
Oh yeah.
People know the difference. They'll think it's really gold, and I'll go out there and I'll get. But do I need more than one person with a shovel? You have to have like 6. I got to get my local, like the mayor,
right?
Yeah,
the police chief, the Lee County sheriff. I need to get a bunch of dignitaries out there, and then we all stand there. But I'm really gonna dig a hole.
It's all about the photo op, Tone.
Not the first hole you dug, Tone.
You think this is the first hole I dug?
Wait a minute. Rim shot. Oh.
The Saquon thing's great though, Tony, because he bucked the New York Giants.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Tiki Barber, he's dead to me, and now Saquon's firing back.
I had when that Tiki Barber thing happened last week, I watched it and they were joking. I mean, Tiki hasn't been in the NFL for 15 years.
Yeah.
And so he's on afternoon drive on the Fan in New York.
Yeah.
And his job is now, he's to rile the fans up. That's what he does. And then he took a shot at Howard Eskin. He took a shot at his dad, who was the PD and is coming back to Philly. And so I called Howard and had him on the same day it happened. And Howard, he got it. He said he texted Tiki. This is all radio stuff, And so obviously Tiki, but then everybody knew, the Eagles knew they were going to sign him. Everybody knew that Saquon Barkley was going to go to the Eagles. That's why, they didn't give a deal to all the Philly guys are leaving, and now we're bringing in Philly guys again.
Well, if he can stay healthy, it's a great signing. But he's had a lot of issues. Obviously,
the guy in Lowe's, he had an Eagles hat on, and he was on a forklift. And I said, "Hey, Eagle fan?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Where you from?" He said, "Cape May Courthouse." I said, "Okay, I'm in South Philly." He said, "Where?" And I told him. He said, if he's from Cape May Courthouse, you care where I'm from in Philly." But anyway, so I said, "What do you think of the Saquon?" Because I'm a journalist first and foremost.
Right.
Yeah.
I wanted to do an informal poll. So while I was in Lowe's, a guy with a Phillies hat on, I can confirm now, in the Cape Coral, Lee County, Florida, west coast of Florida precinct, that there is one guy who is not on the Saquon Barkley bandwagon. And I said, "Why don't you like it?" He said, "Guy's going to get hurt."
Yeah.
And you know what? If he gets hurt, what's going to happen, right? Well, the phones will be lighting up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you won't have to have the PD.
Damaged goods.
Let's get it back to the Eagles. It'll be Eagle talk 24/7. They may not be able to stop talk. If he gets hurt, say he gets a sprained ankle and misses a week or two, right?
Mm-hmm.
In OTAs.
Yeah.
Or in OTAs or in a preseason game if they put him out there.
Right.
Yeah.
Imagine how people will go nuts.
Yeah.
And again, I wish the guy the best. I don't want to see him get hurt.
But it's really only a 2-year deal. They can get out after 2 years.
Yeah. The bottom line is everybody's talking about these numbers and all these signings. It's the guaranteed money. What?
Right. 26 million. 26 million.
So he's guaranteed $13 million a year.
Yeah.
2 years. And if he goes beyond that, and then it goes, and then it could be as worth as much as.
Right.
Yeah, that's 30 chicken shit money though compared to what Kirk Cousins gets every freaking year.
Oh, exactly. By the way, did you see it? By the way, we had it lift off this hour, and I wanted to go see it. Another Starship has lifted up, not Jefferson.
Not Jefferson Starship.
And then it became Starship after it was Jefferson.
Yeah, they sucked then.
Previously, Jefferson Airplane.
They were terrible.
Jefferson Airplane. Then it was Jefferson Starship.
Yeah,
it was just Starship.
Yeah.
But liftoff at 5,000 tons. Starship is the largest flying object ever made, and it is going up in the air like it really doesn't care. Because it really doesn't.
Now, are they doing that?
Blew up.
Are they doing that at Cape Canaveral, Cape Kennedy?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, is that where that?
You know, they did. I watched the launch. This just happened this happened in the last hour. So it's a daytime launch. And now, you know what? I don't care how many times they launch rockets. It's still awesome to watch, especially if you can see it.
Yeah.
So I guess it was a week and a half ago, they launched one with 4 more astronauts. How many more astronauts? They launched them, and then they went up and docked with the existing International Space Station. And it takes a while because they got to, back it up. And then one of the astronauts gets on the back and says, "Come on back."
Yeah.
Does that thing beep when it goes in reverse, like the
Sex
forklift
in
at Lowe's?
Space.
Yeah, so they have to, they go from ludicrous speed and they have to slow it down. So when they finally connect it goes clunk, and it makes that sound.
Hermetically sealed.
Finally docked. And then the other astronauts that were up there for the last 6 months, they get the hell out of there. And then that thing gets the original rocket, the thing where they're in. What do you call that?
The capsule.
Thank you. You know your aeronautics there.
Yeah, I
do. I don't care what anybody says. I mean, who's the guy last night for the Flyers that had a big night? Morgan Frost.
Oh yeah, he was great.
You are not a healthy scratch for 11 straight games.
We've gone from Saquon to space to the Flyers, all in with 90 seconds.
I'm trying to get it in here. You got to get a lot of information. How long is this show?
As long as you want to go.
You know, we take it up to like 2:55.
I didn't even do any prep today. You know that?
I did a lot of prep. Look at it. Did you think I just sat in here? Look, I got prep for the show. I even had a little parts for Martinez for the Flyers with a big win last night against the Shark, but it wasn't easy. But how about that Morgan Frost, guys?
He was great.
5 goals in 28 in 17, 5 goals, 17 assists in 21 games. Since January 4th, when he was being scratched every night as a healthy scratch for 11 straight games, he's now the leading point getter for the Flyers. So you couldn't see guys step up. They're still in the playoff hunt. But the bottom line is, do you want, because you know what happens in Philly? Well, if they're going to get a low seed, they should tank. That doesn't happen in hockey, right? I mean, shouldn't this team just keep playing as well as they can?
Yeah, you can rebuild
and finish. Right.
You can rebuild. Letting young players in sports think it's okay to lose it's like a stain you can't get off.
Exactly.
You can't just flip a switch and go, "Oh, now we're supposed to win." You can't do that. Tony, they got this 7-game gauntlet that starts tonight.
Yeah, I got 2 against the Bruin, 2
Toronto.
Then they got the Florida Panther. Then they got 1 against the Rangers and 1 against Carolina Hurricane. So it is a 7-game gauntlet is good.
Oh, it is going to be
exactly what it is.
Hell on fire. I mean, they've been good against top teams in the league all year. Down in Florida, that's got to be a buzzing hockey market right now. With Florida being the best team in the league and Tampa still absolutely relevant.
And and the Lightning are up and down, but they're still a good team.
Yeah.
So, and the Lightning have won Stanley Cups, but the Florida Panthers, you're right, they are the number one story in hockey. Obviously, when you look at what's going on, Colorado and some of these other franchises, we knew they were going to be good. Did anybody expect the Florida Panthers to be this good?
Yeah, they did when they got Matthew Tkachuk in that trade with Calgary. That changed everything. Some good players already.
Oh, is this the hockey minute?
Yeah, I figured that's why you left, Har.
Yeah, no. The reason why I left is I hear people banging on my front door. So
Who's banging on your front door, Har?
Well, it was a sheriff, the Montgomery County sheriff.
Oh, you got any outstanding warrants?
Well, he's got a like a warrant for a company called Gloss Incorporated that was apparently tied to my home address years ago. He came by about a month ago. That's with the same thing. And I told him, no, that's 2 owners ago. Like, I don't know why that address keeps showing up. And I told him I'm doing a podcast. And he goes, oh, yeah, that's right. It was me that came back here 6 weeks ago. And I said, yeah, I'm on with Tony Bruno right now. He said to say hello. And that Preston and Steve is down in Clearwater right now doing their show.
Yeah, I was at Clearwater Saturday. We drove up. My buddy Jack in the back. I think you've met him. The great Jack. He's now a member of the Bristol Police Department up there. Mike,
is that right?
Area. And I told him if he sees Mike to make sure he throw him in the back seat, cuff him behind his back, and then take him in for questioning and ask him what is wrong with him. And then let him go. Let him walk home from the Bristol Police Department. The great Jack O'Donnell getting ready for you know what tomorrow is, right? Well, tomorrow's Friday. But you know what Saturday is, right?
Well, it's St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Sunday, St. Patrick's Day.
No, it's Saturday, the 17th. Oh, it's Sunday, the 17th.
Yeah, Sunday.
Yeah, but Saturday's when everybody goes out and gets blitzed.
Yeah, the Saturday is the parades because you can't just do St. Patrick's Day in one day. And by the way, shouldn't Monday be the holiday? If Saturday is St. Patrick's Day,
Yeah.
Like Jim Kenny, who was down at the Phillies game the day before I went there. So let me get it back to the Phillies at Clearwater.
Right.
So Preston and Steve did their show. You know, all the local stations go down there, and John Brazier and the Phillies, they do a great job.
Oh, he's great. Yeah.
They did a great job. So the Phillies were playing the Blue Jays, which was a hot ticket. They had no seats available.
All the Canadians are down there.
Oh, all the Canadians have been down here for like 4 months.
They're in Dunedin.
They had to get out.
They got to have to get out and come down here. Quebec, you see, half of Canada comes down here. All of Minnesota comes down.
Yeah,
right.
Michigan is all down here. You know, even the people who work landscaping up in Michigan and the cold climates. You know what they do? They take their trucks and the other big truck they have behind where they keep all their lawn stuff. They come here and do lawn work. They sign contracts with like golf courses because there's so much grass here.
Clean up.
These guys, instead of plowing snow,
right.
they come down here and cut grass all winter long,
right,
and make enough money to live here in the off season. They probably have a house here, which a lot of people do.
Yeah,
and then they go back to Minnesota in the winter,
and they don't freeze their bag off all winter.
Right, they're like the caddies, like the professional caddies do the same thing.
When the humidity's 500% here, in the summertime, and people don't like it, but I love it. I love the heat.
So do I.
Not the heat, guys. It's the stupidity that gets you all the time. So we did some hockey.
Yeah, the Flyers.
What else is on the show sheet?
They've got the meat at this tough schedule now with these next 6-7 games.
Well, we just broke it down, Harry. Where have you been, man?
Well, I was with the Sheriff.
It's a gauntlet. They got 2 with the Bruins. They got the Toronto.
2 with Toronto.
Leaf. 2 with Boston. 1 with Florida. 1 with the Ranger. 1 with Carolina.
I love doing games like tonight because they play Toronto and it's at home.
Yeah.
And when you get the Canadian team in tone, you know what you get. The Canadian anthem.
Oh, yeah.
That's what
O Canada.
Yeah.
That's what they did Saturday, Phillies and Blue Jays.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, here's a question, because I love O Canada. I think it's I love all the country's anthems.
Yeah, but Trudeau stinks.
Even the ones where I don't understand them. They sound
write the anthem, Harry.
No, I know.
They get a good, when they have a good beat and you can dance to it and you give it a 65, it's good. So they had a woman come out and do the national anthem, the Canadian national anthem, and then the U.S. national anthem. And I love the national anthem. And, because I'm a great American. And you know how I know that? Because I'm telling you I am.
No, you're a great
I
American.
said so.
You're a great American because you have your crumb bum T-shirt on.
That's what I do. Harry and I wore this when we announced our
Frank Rizzo.
It's serious. You're a crumb creep coward. Crumb creep coward. And so Jim
You're a lush. I can tell by looking at you.
I don't have them all loaded back in my machine yet. So I go to the game. So I call John Brazier. My buddies are here from Mount Holly, Jack and Ruth's, as we used to call him. Jose would call him, "What up, Jack? What up, Ruth's?" So they're local friends. They came down. And so they came down like Friday night on a flight from Philly on Spirit. And they had to connect in Atlanta and have a 4-hour layover to come down here. I don't know why they didn't get a damn nonstop.
I mean,
get here in 2.5 hours. So anyway, they get in 11 o'clock Friday night. We had to have a couple cocktails. And then we got up at like 7 o'clock in the morning. So we wanted to drive up to Clearwater. It's like a 2.5, 3-hour drive, depending on the traffic. So we get up there. Beautiful day for baseball. John Brazier gives us 4 seats in section 115, which is right behind the dugout. And that's where all the scouts sit. So I'm sitting there, and there's Jim Eisenreich is there.
Did you have your radar gun?
I had my radar gun. I had the radar gun on the fans, too, when I walked around. But there were so many fans of the show and fans of you and me and Martinez. So I'd walk around to go get another cocktail, over at Frenchie's.
Yeah.
We go to the bar. I got Delco's steak.
Out there in left field, right?
Yeah.
And the Delco's cheesesteaks down there, they're like legit Phillies cheesesteaks at Delco Dave's.
Yeah.
And he sees me and he wants to give me a free sandwich. I said, "No, I'm paying. I am not taking free stuff here, even though I'm not. If I were a politician, I'd take the free stuff."
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then it looks good. And everybody thinks, "Oh, look, he went and bought an ice cream. He bought a cheesesteak." I pay for everything except sex. It's pretty easy to get down here. Yeah. And
they're just giving it away down there.
Although the stripper story, right? The stripper story here is that Governor DeSantis has announced that if you're 18 years old and you want to be a dancer, dancer for money,
right?
You could get 50. Now, it's not the strippers. It's the club that hire. And I hate the word strippers. It's gentlemen's club.
Right.
We don't call them strip
like
club.
Mons Venus.
Exactly. Gentlemen's club. Except for Lou Turks. That's a strip club. Especially you go at midday. You know, those are hard work.
Yeah, the day shift at Lou Turks. That's a tough watch.
Yeah.
No disrespect.
You're really just going in there for a sandwich.
Yeah,
I mean, you know,
exactly.
that's what I'm saying.
You go there for the food.
You go there for the food, you know, and then you look around and you say, "I got to get back to work. Can I have another one or what? Can I get another one? Give me a Boilermaker."
It's
on the
so
way
dark in there, and then you walk out at like 2 PM. You're like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
The governor announced,
Like you just walked into the sun.
Yes.
you know, you have to got to be 21, right, to drink in most states. Now, remember when they lowered it to 18 for a couple of
Right.
years, and they knew that was a mistake. So now, if you want to be a dancer in a gentleman's club, you
Mhm.
have to be 21.
Oh yeah.
What? Oh, because of alcohol.
If you're 18, now Mons Venus, they don't serve alcohol because they go totally nude. I
Yeah.
hear from sources who have
Well,
been there.
I can confirm.
Okay, can you confirm it?
I can confirm. Yes.
I can reconfirm Harry's confirmed.
Yeah. And I think this Odyssey 2001
Yeah,
is right
spaceship.
across the street.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's all right near the Tampa
stadium.
Bay Buccaneers Stadium, Raymond James Stadium. And so that's one of those tourist dests. Everybody knows about Mons Venus.
Sure.
Probably the most famous.
Right on Dale Mabry Boulevard, Tom.
Exactly. You know your Tampa Bay area.
Exactly.
So anyway, back to the Phillies game. Now let me finish the stripper story.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Let's get back to the strippers.
I have no clue what I'm going to write in the description for this
I
show.
know,
today.
how do you break? We used to have to do that on our shows when we were doing just the Friday night shows, and now we're doing a show every day.
The
don't have to
signed
write-
Saquon, and he's talking about strippers.
So anyway, so now if you're 18 years old, you can't get a job at a strip club.
So
And
what do you
so
do?
I don't know, but it's not the young ladies who are just looking to make ends meet, you know, and working in the establishments.
To get themselves through college or whatever.
Exactly.
Well,
It's-
maybe
it's
they
a
should
club.
start like a minor league stripping league.
I
You
agree.
know, sort of like the
Double
Corn-
A?
sort of like the Corn Ferry Tour. And from the 18 to 21, you know, until you turn 21, that's where you perform at these lower level Corn Ferry Tour bars.
Or they could call it
Don't
the
serve
G-string.
alcohol.
They could call it the G-string league.
There-
That's where
Yes.
you work your way up.
Yes.
From the G-string league to the topless league, and then
Right.
all the way
You graduate to the topless
baby,
league.
all the way to the main stage.
Right.
Yeah, and like the majors is Mons Venus and Al's
Right.
Diamond Cabaret.
Totally nude stuff. Yeah.
Like who hasn't been to Al's Diamond?
Oh, ready?
Hey,
Oh,
Reading,
yeah.
PA, man.
Yeah,
I'll tell you.
Because the Reading outlets aren't there anymore, are they?
They still have.
Yeah, they're still there.
Yeah, they still have outlets.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Because when I go up to Reading, you
Yeah.
know, I just don't want to go to Al's. I want
Used
make
to be Vanity Fair outlets and then the Moss Street outlets in Reading.
Exactly.
That's great Berks County knowledge right
Exactly.
there.
Yeah.
Nothing less I would expect.
Now there was something on the chat here that says, because you said you don't pay for sex. Brian Cunningham said Miss Robin pays you.
Well, she should. You think any woman could have this 24/7, 365 days a year? I mean, come on,
She
man.
pays the price, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
To have you. I went down a Ron White rabbit hole on YouTube. Like
Oh,
2
he's
weeks ago,
terrific.
and he had this line. He was talking to his wife. She goes, "Oral sex is the same as regular sex." He goes, "No, it's not." She goes, "Yes, it is." He goes, "It doesn't cost the same."
Oh, how do you know? I mean, I haven't checked the prices lately. You know, the old line is, what could I get for $10?
Yeah.
And it used to be anything you want. Remember that from the movie? Anything. You ain't getting nothing for 10. You're
So
not getting
funny.
nothing for $10 animore, according to my sources on the street. Not that I've gone around pricing it, but I did tell you about the guy who said he didn't like the Saquon Barkley thing.
Yeah,
He was afraid if he gets hurt,
at Lowe's.
talk radio stations would have nothing to talk. No, that's what they would talk about 24/7 and how bad the deal is. And I told you the Eagles shouldn't have gone after Saquon, right? Is that not
Right.
what would happen?
Oh yeah.
If
Some
something,
guy-
God forbid, happens?
Some guy said to me he didn't like it. I go, "Why?" He goes, "Oh, you went to Penn State." I go,
Oh.
Why do you not like him then?" I go, "Did you not get in?
Yeah.
You didn't get
you-
into Penn State."
Did you not like Miles Sanders either? Because that's where he went.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
it's an
Did
out.
you not like John Capoletti, Harry?
John
Love John Capoletti.
Delco's own John
Monsignor
Capoletti.
Bonner's own.
That's right.
By the way,
Yes.
you see they're canceling one of the Thanksgiving Day college high school football games.
Which one?
Father Judge, who do they play on Thanksgiving Day? It's like a legendary Thanksgiving Day because all the schools always played together.
Yeah,
Right.
the big rivalry game.
Yeah, so they
Turkey Bowl.
canceled one of them, and I said, why? They said because it's not safe anymore. They throw down on Thanksgiving Day.
Oh,
I
wow.
throw down at the dinner table. You think I'm going to go out and watch high school kids brawl at 10 a.m. on Thanksgiving Day? I'm watching Santa Claus in the Macy's parade go up the damn steps in the chimney and go up into Macy's before they shut that one down in Times Square like they're shutting the other ones down.
Wow.
It's an outrage.
It is.
Yeah. Did
It
you
really
see
is.
that game where there's was it Chester in the basketball? They ended up winning the game when they
Camden against Manasquan.
Camden, yes.
Yeah,
Camden versus, and I broke that down on my
Yeah.
afternoon show.
we did too.
One of the great writers up there, Steve Politi. You know him?
Yeah, sure.
Right, well, yeah.
In Jersey, yeah.
He was there. He writes for NewJersey.com, and I think what's the newspaper up there?
I think he was with the one up in North Jersey.
Yeah, the News.
The Bergen Record or something
Yeah,
like
one of
that.
those.
I don't know.
Good guy, and he was there, and he explained it. And then he talked to both coaches, and then the officials blew it. I mean, they got it right first, and then they got together and they overruled it.
and they blew it.
Yeah, and so now there's so they lost the appeal. They were going to sue, but you think that how much nonsense they would have to go through to try to get that overturned.
The Star Ledger, Joey B's right. He worked.
It is the Newark Star Ledger.
Yeah.
It's just Star Ledger now because they've all combined into one. Because all these newspapers, sadly, a lot of them are going out of business, so they try to combine.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joey B. A great fan of the show. He's like he's on the on-air live fact checker.
Right.
You remember how fact checkers live fact checking?
And he's always live.
He's always live.
Yeah.
I don't know what he does. I think
He's
lives
our
in
Colorado correspondent, Harry.
He is in Colorado. How about them Avalanche, eh?
Yep.
Jeez.
Who's winning the cup now?
He's got boots on the ground in Colorado for the program.
Boots on the ground.
Yeah.
Boots on the ground.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Anyway, where were we now?
I have no idea.
Lowe's.
I did the
Are we
Lowe's
still at Lowe's, Harry?
No, the guy at Lowe's says he didn't like the Saquon Barkley. So,
Right.
and again, this is research. This is man on the street, boots on the ground. Man in Lowe's walks up to a guy. Well, actually, the guy was on a forklift, and he's beeping, and he starts yelling at me, "Get out of the way!" And then immediately I knew it was a Philly guy because I could hear the accent.
Yeah.
Then I saw he had an Eagles hat on.
Well,
So I said, you know what? Let me go into media mode. Let me go put my
put
journalist.
your reporter hat on.
I had my hat with the little press thing on the front.
Yeah, the
Like,
card.
Yeah, like Skip Clayton, the great Skip Clayton used to do when he covered all the games. He was a real journalist. Remember when you
Were
had
you wearing one of those flak jackets like that says press on it like in a war zone? Tony?
Yeah.
The embedded reporters do that.
I was
Yes.
embedded in
You get
Lowe's.
a helmet on.
No, the good thing about the Lowe's and the Home Depots down here, guys aren't just, although they have all the the zero turn lawnmowers outside and the big golf carts. They sell all that stuff down here because people buy the gigantic golf carts because they live in these big communities with old people where they go around and have sex with each other at 2:00 in the morning at the villages.
That's the villages.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's up north of Orlando.
Yeah, I mean, those
Near
people,
Ocala.
they're seniors, but they're very active.
Very
now.
active.
But
Yeah.
I would not recommend if you're looking to hang out with old people, 70 plus,
Yep.
you don't want to see any of that action.
They got like 7 golf courses up there, Tone, and a lot of upside down pineapples.
Yes, they do, Harry. And the other thing I learned through extensive research, I drive around and I'd see all these cars with all these scrunchies. You know those things in the shower?
Uh-huh.
They're like
The
made out of-
loofah, kind of like
Yeah.
But it's not that they're like a ball, but they're all different color fabrics.
right.
And so I would see these on antennas, and I'd say, "What the hell is this? All this stuff?" So I said to Robin, "Robin, can you figure out what's going on down here? Because we're trying to learn the law of the land." And we'd see these cars with a yellow one, a purple one. So Robin goes onto her phone and she says, "Those people are swingers, and the color of the loofah that they have on, whatever those scrunchies, whatever they're called,
It's code.
determines what they like."
Oh,
Whether
wow.
they're into just watching or full contact or swapping. I
Interesting.
didn't know that. But the villages really, they have a guy there who basically sells Voltrex and condoms.
Yeah.
Like you walk up and you say, "What are you looking for?" "I need some Voltrex. I'm a little too
That's
active."
the herpes medication, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
And you can't get that when you're 75. I'm hearing, Harry, but I would be afraid to go up there.
Really?
Afraid to go and look around there.
I was thinking about taking a trip, actually.
And have like 10
Check
different
it out.
colors of those loofahs hanging from your car antenna. Like John Larroquette, Captain Stillman in Stripes said when he was watching the shower scene, "I wish I was a loofah."
Yes. Yes.
And I would chat. And Harry would walk in and say,
Excuse me while I whip this out.
"Yeah."
Holy
man.
cow!
See, that's the thing about me and Robin. I mean, everybody, people who travel and go to, because Harry, you've lived in a bunch of places.
Yeah.
You've been around. I lived in Birmingham, Alabama for a couple of years. So, I learned all the Alabama stuff in the 70s with Bear Bryant and Ralph Shook Jordan.
Right.
You have to learn, the locals and how
Sure.
to talk and stuff. But I know, the Southern accent is really hot. Don't get me wrong, especially on chicks. I mean, a chick with a Southern accent. Is there anything hotter than that, Harry?
I could think of a few things.
I mean, seriously.
It's hot though, but
Even if they're not smart, they sound smarter.
yeah. They sound smarter.
Oh, they look smart.
Well, it sounds incredibly polite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it sounds very subservient.
Oh.
Like,
Yeah.
what can I get you?
What are you trying to say?
Not like they're there to do something for you, and we
Oh,
like that.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing about here in Florida. Like everybody who has a job in a restaurant, they seem happy to be there.
Yeah.
It's not like, they're doing you a favor. That's their job. And, when you meet people who are happy to have a job, you don't see that very often. Most people are pissed off. They don't want to work in these jobs, especially,
Right.
Nobody wants to work for minimum wage and work it. But if you start at McDonald's, that's not your final destination. That's a move your way up job, And so now, with all the stuff going on with people can't afford stuff, and I don't like talking about politics. It's not about politics. It's about common sense.
Yeah.
Use your common sense. You know who said that, Harry? You know who said that, Jason?
I do not.
Remember, it was an interview on CBS this morning with Gayle King.
Uh-huh.
And who was the dude that got in trouble? And then he had this interview where he's like, is this camera on me? Who was that guy, Robin, that got in trouble?
God, it happens
Like,
every week.
interview.
Was it Anthony Weiner?
No. It was a black dude. It was
He's a singer.
Robin. I need
R.
Robin.
Kelly.
Oh, R. Kelly. Yeah,
Thank you very
R.
much.
he's
Kelly.
in jail right now.
Yeah.
He's in jail. So he's doing that interview, and Gayle King
Yeah.
saying, you did this, and you were with young girls and all this other stuff. And he says, you're killing me with this stuff. Remember? So there were so many great drops from that. And then the other one, is this camera on me? That's another one of my favorites. I have them in the machine somewhere. But my favorite new drop is,
Everything woke turns to shit.
I mean, I think that's the message we all should learn. Yeah, look what's happening out there. I mean, look at what's happening.
Yeah,
Tony-
we try to stay away from politics on this
That's not a
show.
political comment. That's just
No.
that's just
It's just a fact.
Just a good drop.
I mean, I don't just have Trump in my sound machine. You got to
Yeah.
have politicians saying stupid stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, remember when we had the old mayor from Boston who's now
yeah.
deceased?
Yes, remember him, Mayor? He was
I
an
forget his
Italian guy.
name.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
he's an
Obama
Italian
too.
guy.
It's
Yeah.
an outrage.
Yeah.
I have all that stuff in here. Come on, man. You got to have that when you do a sports show.
So Tony, you brought up the name Gail, and it made me think of Gail and Angelo.
Oh,
Have you
Ange.
talked to
Oh, yeah.
Angelo at all
Yeah.
in retirement?
Yeah, Ange came on. He was pimping his book. We did an hour on the show.
Yeah.
And, we had great times together. I mean, those were great days.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
That
That's
was-
what got me into sports radio, that stupid show.
That stupid show. That's
Yeah.
what got me out of sports radio. Actually, no, but I mean, obviously that was a great show, and I was
Yeah.
fortunate to do that. Because I was doing the morning show at 12:10, doing just regular talk,
Yeah.
news, sports, traffic, weather, the whole bit. Back when you had full service morning shows,
Mhm.
we had what was the great? Most of those people are gone now. Steve Highsmith did the local news, and then I
Yeah.
would go to CBS News at the top of the hour, and you had to hit it, and then
That time, yeah.
Yeah.
CBS News. I'm Christopher Reed, whatever his name was. And then I have a weatherman. I had Herb Clark.
Oh, yeah. He was a legend.
I had Captain Bill in a helicopter who only flew for us, so it wasn't one like the old Arco Go Patrol. We had our own news. We had Don Henderson doing sports. So it was a full-service morning show. Imus used to do that in New York. That's when the morning shows were not sport-related. Because Imus didn't do sports when the fans started. He was
doing politics
everything
and
else.
pop
Yep.
culture and stuff.
And
Yeah.
now that's, the morning shows that are around now, they don't have the budgets to have a full service operation.
No.
now there aren't even like any real full-time news departments. I mean, KYW still has it, but every radio station had a news department back in those days. You know, I mean, even if it wasn't 1,000 reporters, you know, you had people that covered sports, you have people that covered politics. I covered elections when I was in. Andrea Mitchell and I were covering the Frank Rizzo elections when I started this business.
And Jan Gorham too.
Was she hot back then?
Who, Andrea?
Andrea Mitchell. Was she hot back in the day?
I don't know about hot, Harry, because I wasn't looking at women like that. You know, I mean, I was a young, impressionable young man.
He was a young cub reporter, Harry.
Yeah, exactly. I had the press hat. I had the.
I was looking at women like that since I was in the 7th grade.
And by that you mean 3rd grade.
Yeah. Right.
By the way, you know what today the anniversary is today on this date?
March 14th.
March 14th. Let's go back to 1981, fellas. What happened on March 14th, 1981? I'm going to have to play
something to do with the Sixers?
No.
No, it's the Flyers. 35-game win streak ended?
No. That's another good guess.
Ooh.
Oh, that was 80, actually.
Let me play a little. Where's my...
Is this sports related?
Yes, it's a sport. This is a sports podcast.
I was in 10th grade.
10th grade?
Yeah,
really?
I was in 10th grade.
It's Final Jeopardy, so let's see who gets this.
March.
I'll give you a hint. College basketball. See, because that's what's going on right now.
Villanova's 85.
That's right. This is 1981.
Was that a St. Joe's thing with DePaul?
You are correct, Harry Mays.
Boom. How about that?
Oh, you remember that? One of the greatest upsets.
Ron Myers, DePaul Blue Demons
But they were
upset
good. Now
by
they
St. Joe. Yeah.
Wow.
Actually, DePaul should have won that game last night. They deserved that game.
24.5-point favorites.
Yeah.
Must-win game so they can stay on the bubble.
Yeah.
And they found a way to.
I watched it all the way through.
I didn't watch it. It was a great game, though.
DePaul got frenetic at the end. They just don't know how to win because they don't win games.
Yeah, what were they, 3-29?
3-29 or something, and they've lost 20 straight in the Big East, I think.
And there's no doubt that Villanova is looking ahead to Marquette. Is there any doubt about that?
Today, yeah. No
they
doubt.
got to play them. And I think, looking at the bubble, by the way, did you put some bubble liquid in my machine, Robin? Robin, I told you I needed bubbles for this segment. This is the bubble break.
I thought this was a foam party.
No, foam. I love the foam parties. We're going to bring those back. It's a little jar up there. Get one of my little bubbles because I have one of these gigantic bazooka bubble guns right here. This is I have a license to carry here. So
you do? You need a permit for that.
I have a permit. Ron DeSantis is approved.
Okay.
You have a conceal license for that?
I got it. It's pretty hard to conceal this, but I'll just put it down and I tuck it under. And then I walk around and I think, wow, man, that guy's
Is that a bubble gun in your pants? Or are you happy to see me? Jesus.
Oh,
Robin's applied now. Pour a little in there, Robin. Pour one out for me. There it is. We're applying the bubble juice into the bubble container. And then you just let this thing soak in it. Like Mad used to do back in the days. You're soaking in it. What was that? Palmolive?
Palmolive.
Yes.
All right, here we go. Let's go to our bubble watch. Where's Joe Lenardi when we need him? Joe, Villanova's still on the bubble. That's what I want to know.
I think they're 18 and 14, Tone. They've got to get to at least the finals of the Big East to have a chance.
No, I think based on what I was reading this morning, guys, to be serious for like 10, 15 seconds, Marquette's a really good team, and they were obviously looking ahead. Joe Lenardi and all the bubble guys are saying Villanova needs to win at least one more game in the tournament to basically be one of the 4 in. They're doing the last 4, first 4 in, first 4 out. Yeah. I'll tell you who's screwed now is Syracuse.
Oh, yeah. Well, they lost last night to NC State.
But they didn't lose. They got housed.
They got buried. Yeah.
What was
Temple plays tonight, Tone.
Your Temple University basketball Owls, they still have a team?
And I've been told there's some suspicious gambling activity going on with that game. The point spread is going crazy.
Whatever happened, because when that story happened last week, it became like a big story online about the line started at 2.5. And then it went to
That's
8.
a bad line.
Yeah, that line was telling you something.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Mike Missinelli even said, that line says something to me.
Yeah.
I called the Philly Godfather after that game because there was this, scuttlebutt at Temple because they're so bad because they got out-rebounded like 41-19 in that game.
39-17, I think it was.
It was 41-19. I've done my research on degenerate gambling action. But anyway, so then they're saying, I know Temple's not good.
Right.
Are they that bad, huh?
Well, I mean, they shouldn't have been only 2.5-point underdogs to that team. UAB is a decent team. They got like 20 wins. But Brian Cunningham has this. He figured it out. Joe Eunice moved that line.
He moved the line for you.
Yes. Godfather Lux.
Is he still doing his Godfather Lux?
I think so. I think so.
So now
in the
Temple,
North
what's the
Face
number
in the
tonight?
North Face fleece.
Temple plays SMU tonight in the 9:00 hour.
Is what's his name still the SMU coach, former Sixer coach?
No. They've had like 3-4
I know,
coaches since then. Yeah.
I still have an SMU shirt that Baldy gave me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Remember that?
He used to do football games there a lot.
SMU Mustangs. So anyway, tonight
They're 12.5-point favorites. Those SMU Mustangs.
I know. Well, they're better than Temple. It's
Wow.
what's happening to Temple, Harry.
I don't know, man.
It's sad what's happened to that program.
It's an outrage.
Yeah.
So now Nova obviously sneaks in a win. ACC, Syracuse is
St.
gone.
Joe won yesterday.
St. Joe Hawks. And Michigan, I mentioned earlier, because Harry I wanted to get Phil Martelli on to talk about the anniversary. Because wasn't he coaching in '81 in that DePaul game?
No, that was prior to him. I think it might have been
coach
Boyle.
with
It might have been Boyle. Might have been Jimmy. Was it Jimmy Boyle?
I think you're right, Harry.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
St.
It
Joe's
was pre-Martelli though.
Yeah, pre-Martelli, because Martelli then had the two great. That was 2000. That was around 2000, 2001.
2004 is when they made the run.
But Jameer Nelson and Delonte West.
They had the best backcourt in the country.
No doubt.
Outrageous.
No doubt.
Absolutely. And those guys, and I remember because I was out in LA working for Fox and the Best Damn Sports Show, and Phil Martelli came on because obviously St. Joe's was so good, and they had the best backcourt. So I remember doing the show. So I'm sitting next to Phil Martelli on the TV set, and Phil, he's a great sense of humor, funny guy.
Great
and
guy.
his son coaches at Bryant. Did you know that?
Oh yeah, Bryant.
Bryant is not Bear Bryant.
I think Bryant's up. Is that in Rhode Island?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think they're. What conference are they in? Huh?
One of those one bid
Rhode
league.
Island. They're in Smithfield, Rhode Island.
Yeah, I thought so. They're in a one bid league, Tone. That's all you need to know.
They're a private university in Smithfield, Rhode Island. And it's two colleges, the College of Arts and Sciences and the College of Business.
Yeah.
And it's accredited by the New England Commission of Higher Education. The average cost.
I never even heard of Smithfield.
No?
They make good sausages and bacon.
That's in Smithfield, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Bryant University. And yes, Phil Martelli Jr.
Yeah.
is matriculating the basketball up there on the program.
Not Lane Bryant.
Big girls need loving too. Harry.
Exactly right.
Lane Bryant was legit.
Yeah.
Before there was all this Lizzo and all this other stuff,
Yeah.
Lane Bryant was the place where the BBWs
Exactly. Yeah.
feel comfortable in their own skin.
Yeah.
A lot of skin.
A lot of skin, yeah. That's why they had
A lot of extra skin.
Was she a big old fat girl?
Remember that one?
We would say extra padding. That was before you couldn't say anything. You couldn't fat shame. All the other.
Right.
So
Now you have porn sites dedicated to it.
Exactly right.
So the thing is,
what color's the scrunchie for fat people?
if when I was in LA and I was single, I was online looking for chicks, and they would say a little extra padding.
Right.
I know a little extra padding's all right. I'll take a chance. And then they weren't really talking about a little extra padding. A little extra padding is a lie. When
Right.
a chick tells you she has a little extra padding, that means she has a lot of extra padding.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with it.
No. If that's what you're into.
though.
Yeah.
The slump busters, everybody needs them. Not just the great Mark Grace with the Cubs, who broke out
Slump
of
buster.
slump busters. You get yourself a big girl the night before a game.
Why do they have to always be big girls? I mean, why can't they just be, maybe less attractive facially? And why do they always have to be a big girl?
That's Mark Grace. He's the guy who termed it slump busters.
Yeah.
He was the first guy when he was with the Cubs and he would go into a funk.
Not Dave and Buster's.
No, you get action in there too. Harry.
You can find a slump buster in there.
You ever notice every Dave and Buster's you have to go through a metal detector?
Yeah.
before you go in there?
Yeah, that's an instant sign. I should not be here.
Yeah.
Well, no, I remember the one on Delaware Avenue.
Yeah.
During the day you can go in there, bring your kids.
We did
5
shows
o'clock.
from there. Yeah.
5 o'clock, yeah. 5 o'clock. You better get those damn kids out of there. 'Cause that's when they put the metal detector.
That's when the shift change
The
happens.
ship came in, and then the crowd change happened too. And you don't want to be in there with guys packing. But now everybody in Philly's packing. 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds.
Delilah's had the metal detectors
Yeah,
too.
they did.
Yeah.
They did. Yeah.
Better have a metal detector. What about that other place down on Delaware Avenue?
What, Rock Lobster?
The Fantasy Show Bar.
Oh,
They have
yeah.
metal detectors in there.
That's where DeCamera used to get takeout from.
Yeah.
Take out food or take out women. That's what I
Both.
Yeah. He'd go there he'd go there for the chicken parm.
Yeah.
I'm like,
so good,
you're
man.
in South Philly. You go there for chicken parm?
Now, Harry and I used to go to cheerleaders and do shows down there.
Yeah.
We worked the pole in cheerleaders, Harry.
Yeah.
and I.
We were on the side stage. I was a side stage.
Well, most of us were.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
With the great Jackie Bam Bam
Yeah. Oh, that's
Jackie
great.
in there.
Yeah. That
He was the
champagne room
greatest.
is legendary.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But the best story was when Harry and I went up to the Northeast for that Halloween party at that club that was.
Oh, Club Risque in the Northeast.
No,
Oh.
no, it was the other one, the something club. Remember? And it was a Halloween party. And I was living in LA. We flew back for that. And it was snowing that night. It was right
The
before-
Penthouse Club?
Yes, the Penthouse Club.
Yes.
Remember that?
Oh.
Yes.
It was the night before Halloween, and we were hosting this Halloween party. You know, women come in free, so they're couples in there. And then they had this stripper who was
Yeah.
like a porn star.
She was into like goth and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
she came out with like
Yeah.
these stockings, not stockings, like it was a full bodysuit.
Yeah.
And then she comes down on the stage, and Harry and I have the mic, and there's a runway at the Penthouse Club.
She's
Mhm.
dressed as a nun. You have
Yeah,
to
it was a
she's dressed
nun.
as
That's
bloody
right.
Nun.
Yeah.
And then so her handler sitting next to her, Robin was taping this, right? This is on video. So the woman comes down the stairs and walks on this runway, and the handler's like, okay, now she's going to take out a knife, and you're going to get that knife and hold it in her hand.
Yeah.
And she's going to cut open her suit and, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm
Everything's
standing
gonna
there, and
fly out.
Harry's like, Harry didn't want any part of this.
No, I didn't want any part of it. You were into it.
I was into it because
Yeah.
but then I realized that she was not really, up close. She
Yeah.
looked great from far away.
Yeah.
Up close, I was like, I should have had a hazmat suit on. Let's be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
And then luckily we went through the night. We got out of there the very next morning.
Wait.
It was busted. It was raided.
It was rated, but Harry and I were sitting back and we were laughing hysterically.
Oh,
while
yeah.
it was all going on, but it was like an uncomfortable laughter because it was not.
Yeah, because she had this cross
It was
around her neck.
awkward.
Yeah, it was.
She had a
Yeah,
big
you
cross around her neck, and the cross turned out to be a knife. So she pulls the top part of the cross, and it's a real knife. That's a knife. And I didn't say. She didn't say that.
That's a knife.
That's
That's
a-
not a
That's a knife.
This is a knife. Then she grabs my
Dundee.
hand. She grabs my hand and she uses the butt end of the knife to like pretend to be pumping herself with the butt
You're
end.
like,
of the
I'm
knife.
going to hell.
That's
for
when
this.
I got it very
satire.
uncomfortable.
Yeah. Harry and I were very uncomfortable.
But I
And
had to
Tony-
play along. I'm a performance
Yeah.
artist. I was there to entertain.
I do remember that.
You're
at
gonna have to
one point-
answer for that, Tony, at the pearly gates.
I know. At one point, Tony looked back at Harry and I with sort of like this desperation look in his eyes, going, "What do I do now?"
I'm thinking, what happens if they raid the place now?
Right.
And
Yeah.
the cops see me and Harry at the runway, and I'm holding a chick's knife and pretending to be ramming it into her
Yeah.
punani, so
Yeah.
to speak.
Yeah.
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 You know what I mean?
We
But
get
we
it.
got raided the very next
We
night.
get it.
We got
Yep.
that close to being in the
can't
back
under-
of the paddy wagon.
We
Can't
would have been on the
understand why
front
they got
page
raided.
of Daily
Yeah.
News and the other paper. What was the other paper that was around back then?
The bulletin.
The Metro.
The Metro's still around, right?
That's
Yeah.
the city
Yeah.
paper.
Yeah.
Was it city paper?
No,
Right.
I forget what it was. No,
Yeah.
it was the one that was the sports one, and then it went out of business. Remember that one?
Oh yeah, that was.
Al Morgani worked for it. A
Yeah.
lot of local writers worked for it,
Shoot.
and it went out of business.
It was the National. Was it? the
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it was the national.
I think it was. It was pretty good while it was around. But you know who set that night up, right? The sales rep for that,
of course.
Jeff Moore.
Yeah. Well, he's degenerate. But you know what? We got paid, Harry. They said,
Yeah.
"Hey, you go out to a strip club on a Halloween Eve and
Yeah.
host a Halloween party." So I got dressed up, right? What was I? Was I dressed up as Heisenberg that night?
No, you were dressed up as a pimp.
Oh, that's right. I put
Yeah,
my
yeah.
pimp
Pimping
suit
ain't
on.
easy.
No, it ain't easy.
No,
Now, Harry didn't wear a costume, right?
no, I don't do
Of course
costumes.
not.
Yeah.
Come on, Harry.
I'm not fun.
I had a
on.
costume on. I was dressed like a naughty pirate, and I just remember the news hit that the next day, and I was picturing Tony in a pimp costume, me in a naughty pirate,
and
and
Harry with a
Harry
vodka cran.
with a vodka.
As the police burst into the place.
A heavy pour.
You know, I performed with a Tom Petty cover band at that place.
Did you really, Harry?
Yeah,
Wow.
I was on stage and sang a couple songs.
Wow.
It was a birthday party for me.
Was it? Did
At
you
the
sing
Penthouse Club.
"Refugee" Hair?
No. No.
Speaking of tribute bands, Cape Coral, where I live, is like the world headquarters for tribute bands.
Is that right?
I love tribute bands.
There's like clubs dedicated to just tribute bands everywhere, man, and they're good.
I
Yeah.
feel like Mercedes here. I got to go to the bathroom.
You got to pee?
Yeah. We've been
We
on an
should-
hour.
We've been on an hour already.
Over an hour.
I
Yeah.
only committed to a half an hour, guys. do
You're
I
getting
say?
overtime. Welcome to overtime.
How many extra stanzas will we be playing today, boys?
Yeah, exactly. Harry just up and leaves to go take a whiz.
Yes, he did. Well, you
Sheesh.
know, when you got to go, you got to go.
Yeah,
That's the good thing
absolutely.
about mine. I usually bring a pea cup, put it underneath the desk. You know what
I
I mean?
prefer a catheter. I
No,
don't have to do anything.
If you have
Just
to wear
let
a
her go. So, Tony, you have the show today. Tell people about the Tony Bruno Network.
And, you know, people in Philly who don't know where I am, you know, back in the day, you know, when you left a place and you went somewhere else, people go, where do I find you now? And
Yeah.
the easiest thing is now you have an app. So
Yeah.
now you don't have to look for a radio station and you can hear it anywhere in the world. A lot of people in Philly listen every day, people all over the world. We got people in Finland, people in Australia. So that's the great thing about digital media, which we're on now, is it's the future. Everybody gets their information digitally. You know, so we got this app. You just download it in the App Store or Google Play. Go to Tony Bruno Sports Network, and bam, it's right there. And then you can listen to us live. And then there's also we're also on video on we're on Rumble now. Can you believe that?
Nice.
Rumble, Facebook, YouTube, Pornhub, Tinder, wherever you get your content, you can watch the show. And then Robin, when she's not dead after doing all this extra work, she posts them on the podcast apps too,
On demand. Yeah.
on demand. You know,
That's
because not everybody
fantastic.
can listen live.
Yeah. So you're not limited by some 5,000 watt signal.
Exactly right. We are
You got a
worldwide.
50,000 watt flamethrower
Exactly.
high atop the
Yeah, because
PSFS
this show,
building.
people all over the world can hear. Watch
Right.
and watch it. And
Yeah,
that's
they
the
do.
advantage. And not that I hate radio. You know, we're radio veterans. I mean, all three of us have been around forever, right? And we know how it works. You work at one station, you go, well, you know, and I've been fortunate to work at ESPN and Fox and so many great places with so many great people. You know, when I see guys like Tim McManus, who we had on the show, used to be our board op, or Nick Kale, or all these guys, you know, when you see them move up, Johnny Marks, all these guys started out, you know, as board ops or guys answering the phone. And
Right.
I love seeing the next generation come up because they're
Yeah.
the ones who are going to replace us. But while we're around, and I moved to Florida to retire, I bought a boat, which I haven't used since May, you know, and I got a lot where I want to build my house. And now some guy says, hey, why don't you do a digital show down here? Little did I know
So
that
now you're working again.
I'm working I'm working harder than I've ever worked before. And I came down here to retire.
Right.
So what the hell is going on out there, as Harry Mays would say? You know, Harry, you had so many great things that still hold true to this day and will hold true in perpetuity. Can we use that line, perpetuity? Is that too legal?
No, that works.
That's a non-offensive term.
Yeah.
Exactly right. And so Harry Mays, he started it off with,
What is going on back there?
Yeah.
and that was Coach Camille, right?
No, it was actually Sean Brace was the producer
Right.
of the show, and then we had the interns back doing the phones, like answering the phones.
Right.
And I went to like 2 or 3 calls in a row, and nobody was there, or the
Let's go to the
wrong guy
phones.
was there, something like that, and I just lost it.
Yeah. And you said, and this was real. This is not
No.
staged. This is real raw Harry
Yeah.
Mays back
No.
in the Raw days, the WWE Raw. Remember those?
Right.
What is going on back
Yeah.
there?
Yeah. The one with Coach Camille was Get Out,
Out.
Get Out.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
one.
Get out! Get out!
That is vitriol at its finest.
My favorite one is
I am pissed off.
because Harry was really pissed off.
Yeah, Mikey Miss didn't like that. You know, I got a text from him that day. I
And
did
you
that
I am pissed off.
because I said pissed on the radio. He didn't like that.
No, Mike
Yeah.
is moral authority on profanity and all things radio.
Well, yeah, he
and-
went after Chase Utley. Remember when he said world effing champions?
yeah.
Yeah.
I
He didn't like the
outrage.
vulgarity, Mike.
Did you throw down with the Mikey Miss in a
No.
parking lot in Bristol, Pennsylvania up there?
In a cage
No,
match?
In Ardmore.
Did you go down to the shore to his summer estate and take it up with him?
Strathmere.
Strathmere?
Yeah.
I thought he was a Sea Isle guy.
No, he's a
Or no,
Strathmere guy.
What's the not Strathmere? What's the other? Who? Sea Isle's obviously popular.
Stone Harbor.
Stone Harbor, yeah, but there's
Yeah.
another one. Avalon.
Avalon. Yeah.
Avalon.
Yeah.
That's
bougie.
Johnny Clark. He's
Yeah.
an Avalon
He's an
guy.
Avalon guy. Cooler
Yeah.
by a mile, isn't that what they say down
Yes.
there?
Yes.
Is it
exactly.
still cooler by a mile in Avalon?
Yeah.
It's
That's
more
'cause
expensive by a mile. I know that.
I think it's like a 7-mile long island, and Avalon is 4 miles, and Stone Harbor is 3.
Yeah.
So that's where they get the cooler by a
Oh,
mile.
I'm an 8-mile guy. I like to take it to the inner city in Detroit. That's
Yeah.
how I roll in the summertime.
That's where the NFL draft is this year, Tone.
Why?
Detroit.
Speaking of Detroit, how about C.J. Gardner Johnson
Yeah.
coming back? Huh?
Yeah, I
You
know.
see he's trying to make amends. Listen, you know what I said about you guys. Let's forget about it. I'm coming
Yeah.
back. And
Yeah.
of course, the fans want him because the Eagles' secondary sucked last year.
Well, they do have this guy that was suspended for gambling. That was an Indianapolis Colt that Howie went and poached.
Yeah.
He's actually a really good player, and he's going to be eligible next season.
What's the line on that on his tackles and
Yeah. Bet the over on anything.
Right. So,
This guy's
What
got
was-
some.
I mean, how about Cal? How about the Patriots, man? You talk about the Patriots fans pissed off. Our morning guy on the network, Pete Shepard, was up there at EEI.
yeah, he's a Boston
many
guy.
years. Yeah, Boston guy. And, you know, that was a great show back on EEI. That's when, like, WIP.
Oh, they
and
were a
EEI,
monster.
all these AM flamethrowers were talking sports. And so they were obviously basking in the greatness of the Patriots for all those years. And now shit has really crashed and burned. And then Calvin Ridley, they were hoping to sign up there. And he goes and he signs yesterday. You see where he went? Tennessee Titans, man.
Yeah.
He went, you know why he went to the Tennessee Titans? And people are probably no
No state
income
tax.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why people like playing in Florida.
Yep.
No state income
Right.
tax. That's why people like to play in Texas. No state income tax. You know, and Jason, in Canada, those guys get raped with taxes up there.
Any guy that's got a modified no trade list, every Canadian team's on it.
Exactly.
Because you can take less money and bring home more
Right.
in Florida, Texas, in Vegas,
Yeah.
Arizona.
Isaiah Rodgers, that's the name of the defensive back that was suspended for gambling with the Colts, but he's now an Eagle and he'll be eligible next year. He's a pretty good player.
Not Charles Rogers.
No,
Yeah.
no, not Jimmy Rogers. Honeycomb. Remember that song? I think it was Honeycomb.
Jimmy Rogers.
Jimmy Rogers.
Yeah. He did the
Honeycomb,
whole like the
baby.
hobo stuff.
Yeah.
Robin, you have a little Jimmy Rogers here we can play.
That's old school country.
I think Jimmy
Not really.
Rogers did the song Honeycomb, right?
I think he did. I think a bunch of people did that, but yeah, I think Jimmy Rogers.
That
did
hobo hillbilly music. Yeah.
Love that
Exactly.
shit, man.
Did.
Love it.
Wow.
All
Well, I
right.
think we've officially exhausted every
Yeah, I think-
avenue we can get to.
Yeah,
At least
I don't think we missed any. Oh, by the way, the other big story. This is breaking news, guys. When news breaks, we fix it.
Right.
You see who's going to join Mike Tirico for the NBC Summer Olympics this summer in Paris?
Taylor Swift.
Peyton Manning and Kelly Clarkson.
Oh wow.
Summer
She
Olympics.
lost a bunch of weight. She
She
must be
did.
on that Ozempic stuff.
Is that what
She
she's
is.
on? I haven't
Yeah.
seen her lately.
Yeah.
She claims it's some like keto gummy, but I don't think it is.
That's bullshit.
That is
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah.
That keto shit doesn't work. It works. for like a
No,
week.
I tried it.
Me and Harry
Martinez
did it.
and I did it at the same
Robin and
time.
I did it. Robin and
Yeah.
I did it. We lost like 100 pounds each.
Really? I lost
no,
one.
No, we lost a lot of weight last year. Plus, we're outside in the sun in the summertime working on the boat. So I probably lost 20 pounds just sweating it off. So I didn't need
Yeah.
Ozempic. But now I'm going back the other way. You know, we're in, even though the weather's nice down here,
Yeah.
we started network. We built a studio. So we were like we were going 24/7 trying to build the network, but we weren't doing any aerobic stuff.
Right.
We were just getting in the truck, loading it up with shit, putting stuff together. And then breaking it.
Sedentary.
If only you could lose weight by talking.
I know.
Oh my
you're
God.
right.
You'd
Yeah,
be a
has anybody
beanpole.
ever done that? How many calories you burn when talking for 4
shit.
hours?
Holy cow.
Ridiculous, man. So Peyton Manning, Kelly Clarkson, and Mike Tirico
Wow.
at the Olympics.
That
And by the
Peyton
way,
Manning, he gets a lot of gigs. Yeah, I heard he's trying to hire Belichick to join Omaha Productions, that company that he and Eli have.
Wow.
Yeah.
But
And what
on
do
the-
they do, Harry? They just put out
They have
content?
steaks,
Yeah,
don't
they're
they sell
content
steaks? They
providers.
sell steaks, and if you order now,
Yeah.
you get a couple extra chicken breasts for free.
Yeah.
We'll throw them right in.
And you get the dry ice and
And
the
the apple
styrofoam?
tarts. The apple tarts.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Hello, friends.
How many days, Harry?
Oh my! I knew
You got it in the countdown?
You have to have it on your
28 days. 28
It's
days.
still that far away?
Yeah, it starts on a Thursday, 4 weeks from today.
What's the
Wow.
actual date? Is it the 18th of April?
It's the 11th of April.
That seems a little later than normal, no?
It's like a week late.
Yeah,
a lot of times
usually
it's
around the
later.
6th
Yeah.
or something.
Now, what happens to all the azaleas if they like bloom too early and they?
No, they
fall
don't. They
off?
don't. That doesn't happen. They put ice on them. They stick ice in front of them with fans to keep them from
Are you
blossoming.
serious, Harris?
Yes.
This is inside information. I've
Yeah.
never heard this.
Yeah,
Because an azalea, after it blooms, looks like shit the rest
right.
of the year.
course.
They have everything timed perfectly for those
Yeah.
5-6 days that all the cameras are there.
Yeah, the azalea is great for 9 days.
Yeah, it's almost like a tulip.
Yep.
Like I had tulips in my front yard. As soon as they
Yep.
pop, 6 days later, they're done.
Oh yeah, and then you
Yeah.
cut them back. You bend them because I used to grow tulips, and then you bend them in half, and then they go back in the ground. The bulbs are still there. You never pull them
You,
out.
you
No.
deadhead them is what it's called.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, you like deadhead rose bushes and you
Yeah.
cut all the dead
He
ones
looked
off.
like he was twisting a roach or twisting a joint there, Tone. At the,
Yeah, deadhead. Well, he's done that. I believe.
twisting that up.
Yeah.
We should pour one out for Jerry Garcia.
What?
He's been dead for how long now?
Been dead since '95.
Yeah, we never poured one out.
Jerry Garcia was 53 years old when he died.
Yeah.
Looked like
Yeah.
he was 80.
Yeah, he
Right.
looked 80.
You
Yeah.
talk about a battered performer.
Yeah.
When you see pictures of Jerry Garcia at the end
Yeah.
of his life when they were still touring,
Oh, yeah.
he looked like he was 80 years old, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unlike the Rolling Stones, who never age or do age, but still can perform at age 80, whatever. They're in their 80s now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. 70s.
Easily.
At least. Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Let's tell everybody about our sponsor of the OGs podcast.
Well, you know.
By the way, this
you
was
know,
episode 89. We never got that out.
you know,
89?
Tony.
89?
You frequented the original Fudge Kitchen many times down at the Jersey
Absolutely.
Shore.
Love that place.
Any
man.
of their 6 locations, Cape May, Wildwood, Stone Harbor, Ocean City, they make all their fudge and sweet treats right in the store, which guarantees that it's fresh.
I can
but
see them in that big bowl as they start adding more material,
Yeah.
stirring it.
Thickening it up.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but if you can't attend and tell them that N4L or the IG's podcast sent you, don't worry about it. FudgeKitchens.com. Just order it right there and they'll ship it right to
They
you.
can ship it down here because we don't have, well, we have some fudge places here.
Yeah.
We don't have like saltwater taffy or any of that other.
I'm not a Taffy's man.
I'm not either. Just some
yeah.
of them, the
Yeah.
softer ones. I don't like that stuff because it pulls
Get
my
stick in
teeth
your
out.
teeth. Yeah. Yeah.
I have an appliance.
Right.
So I don't want my appliance to be pulled out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Other things you pull out, but not the appliance.
Exactly.
That's your tip of the day, your safety tip of the day on this program.
All right. This was fantastic.
It was. So everybody needs to go to either the Apple Store or the Google Play Store and get the Tony Bruno Sports Network app.
Correct.
What time's the show? 3 o'clock?
3 o'clock.
Afternoon drive, 3 to 6 every day. We bring the funk. We have the same kind of fun. And that's the one thing I've been doing way before Harry. I mean, and we continue it. People, I just try to do the same stuff that I do. Have fun. Because if you don't have fun doing it, why do it, right?
Keep it
That's
continuing.
why you're never going to retire.
No, I'm not. Who was the dude? Ben Shapiro yesterday said nobody should retire. Did
Yeah,
you
he
see
said
that crap?
retirement's stupid. Yeah.
That
Really?
talk? I'd like to drop him
Yeah.
right there. I'd like to take him outside. Guy, a 40-year-old guy who's a multimillionaire is telling people that when they hit 65, they shouldn't retire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is that punk to tell me when I should retire? I'm 72 and I'm
Exactly.
still working. But I want to retire, but then I got sucked back in. Every time I try to get out, they suck me back in, boys.
They pull me back in.
Yes.
Tony,
right,
this was
Tone.
awesome.
Thank you,
And we'll
guys.
get you back on before a year.
All right. Make sure it's not a tragedy or any kind of something bad happens.
Right.
Everybody, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. That's episode 89 of the OGs podcast. We'll talk to you next time.
All right.